guys, this is Aquifel again with a classic wrestling review, Ring of Honor War of the Wire from 2003. I had planned something a little bit more special for this classic review, but due to lack of time and technical problems, I wasn't really able to do that. So you just have to live with the normal stuff. Next time maybe. So, War of the Wire started with the Backseat Boyz versus Fast Eddie and Hotstuff Hernandez match. And the Backseat Boyz, Johnny Kashmere and Trent, well, not exactly talented guys. I think the best, or rather only good match I've ever seen with Trent involved was the ladder match against Homicide, and even that one was rather questionable if that was really good or just a decent spot fest. Fast Eddie was nearly blind. Lovey and Punk didn't make that up. He really is blind, or was almost blind. I really don't know about that. And his tag team partner Hotstuff Hernandez, well, we all know him from the Latin American Exchange in TNA. What kind of match was that supposed to be? I mean, the Backseat Boyz aren't that talented. Fast Eddie was practically blind. So, well, the Backseat Boyz were rather unfair, and in the end, of course, they focused on Fast Eddie and won the match. You didn't really have to see that one, because back in 2003 there was a lot of crap on Ring of Honor cards. A lot of great stuff, really great stuff too, but a lot of crap, and this one was more of the crap than of the real good stuff. Same goes for the next match, the tag team scramble between Special K, represented by Angel Dust, Dixie, Hijinx, Hydro, and Lit, according to my notes. We all know Hydro because he became Jay Lethal afterwards, and he was the most, or maybe even only, talented guy involved with Special K, because Jack Evans, not everybody really likes him. And their opponents, Slugger, the former bodyguard, the Carnage crew, DeVito and Locke, and the SAT, Jose and Joel Maximo. The SAT, undoubtedly aside from Hydro, the most talented guys in this contest, yet none of the participants were above average at that stage. And the match, of course, it was a spot fest. You had these high-flying spots. You had a lot of multi-man spots where more people do the same, or many people do the same shit at the same time. And well, if you're into that, this match is probably made for you. But I wasn't a fan of it, and I hated Special K. That gimmick just sucked. It was really annoying. On to the Gauntlet match between CM Punk, Jimmy Rave, Matt Stryker, Colt, Cabana, and BJ Whitmer. And you all know how Gauntlet match works. The first two guys are in, the winner faces the next guy, the winner faces, and so on. It started with CM Punk versus Jimmy Rave, and Punk's leg was hurt, I think, the night before. We heard about it before, because Punk was on commentary for the other matches, and we heard about it afterwards, during the other matches. Well, CM Punk, and Jimmy Rave, they really delivered here. I mean, Rave, he totally lacks any charisma whatsoever, but he was a decent worker. And him and Punk, it wasn't magic, but it was pretty good. Punk, after Rave attacked his injured leg, of course, he prevailed, but afterwards against Matt Stryker, well, Stryker went after his leg again, or two. So Punk was out. Stryker faced the other Second City Saint, Colt Cabana, who started off with his shenanigans like, first I gotta, put my stuff aside, then I gotta argue with a fan, and as soon as it really was underway, it became good. And in the end, not great, but good, and in the end, Stryker won again. so he could face his nemesis, arch enemy, whatever, BJ Whitmer. And Whitmer fresh, Stryker with opponents like Punk and Cabana, of course, not so fresh. And Whitmer really brought the fight to him. And when Stryker tried to suplex Whitmer off the top rope or whatever, Whitmer just pushed him off. He fell rather unluckily, and he was out. Well, of course, that was a work, because BJ Whitmer decided, well, if he's out, he wasn't honorable, like, well, I won, he's out, I don't want to hurt him. No, he wanted to hurt him. He took him back into the ring, used his exploder on him, and that was that. And at Final Battle, I think it was at Final Battle 2003, Stryker should get his revenge, or a match for revenge. The fourth match, the Outcast Killaz versus the local heroes, I don't want to say heroes, April Hunter and Slyk Wagner Brown. Well, that was a dud, because the Outcast Killaz just sucked. April Hunter, well, and Slyk Wagner Brown was more talented than some people give him credit for, still the Outcast Killaz just sucked, and this match did too. John Walters versus Xavier was the next match. I never understood why Xavier was able to beat Loki for the ROH World title. I'm just happy that Samoa Joe took the belt off him rather quickly. And Xavier still was around at Ring of Honor, and he apparently had defeated John Walters a rather huge number of times, and Walters still wanted that win over the ex-world champion. And he got it here in a rather nice match, nothing great or really memorable, but he really beat him here, got a little bit lucky, and got beat up afterwards. But John Walters, talented guy, said that he never really had his breakout performance or his real breakthrough. Still, nice match, and Xavier, not untalented, but somehow he lacked charisma, and compared to other Ring of Honor World Champs, well. Then we had the ROH Tag Team title match, and the Tag Team title matches, in 2003 often were great. Nothing too memorable, but still really good matches, and so was this one between the Briscoes, the champions at that time, and the Prophecy, Daniels and Christopher Daniels and Dan Math. With three talented guys and Dan Math, of course, this match worked pretty well. It was very fast-paced in the beginning, and the Prophecy, of course, with the heel tactics, always trying to cheat, get a little bit something in there so they would get the advantage. It wasn't until Alice in Danger got involved that they really were able to take this advantage, and they really dominated Mark Briscoe for a long time. They taunted both the Briscoes with it, and still used the heel tactics so they would stay in advantage. But in the end, of course, the Briscoes were able to fight back. And even Alice in Danger got her share of beating up by the Briscoes, and the Briscoes retained the titles. The match itself, as I said, really good match. Not great, but highly entertaining. Then we had the ROH World title match between Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, and it was crystal clear that they were supposed to face each other, but the night before, as I got it, they wrestled as a tag team, and the respect they had for each other turned a little bit into I don't really like that guy, because I haven't seen the match, so I don't exactly know what happened in the tag team match, but they start with chain wrestling. There's still some mutual respect left there, but it's a little bit back and forth until Joe dominates, as he has always dominated as the ROH World Champion. And Styles is able to make a stand here. And yeah, he won't stay down, and he gets in his shots. He power bombs Samoa Joe. He even gets a Styles Clash in. In the end, Joe still prevailed because, yeah, he got Styles in the Coquina clutch, and, well, he really cinched it in, and Styles had no way of escape, and of course he had to submit, but still, very cool match, highly entertaining. It lacked a little bit of a story. It wasn't storyless, but they could have put more emphasis on the story here. That mutual respect turned into a little bitterness between friends or athletes. Well, they had it in there, but not as much as it could have been. Still, great match. And, of course, the main event, the no-ropes barbed wire match between Homicide and Steve Corino. Homicide and Steve Corino, in my opinion, with Rave and CM Punk, the feud of the year 2003, because at Best Friends, Bitter Friends, Different Enemies, I review the show, and as soon as I look at the DVD, I'll know how it was called. Bitter Friends, Different Enemies, I think it was. Well, there the feud really escalated. It started somehow with them being a tag team, Homicide accidentally hitting Corino hitting Homicide back on purpose, and somehow since then they didn't like each other. At Bitter Friends, Different Enemies, we all know the slap that Homicide gave Corino, and Corino was deaf on this ear after the slap. So the intensity, I don't think they had legitimate beef. I just think they got caught up in the intensity, and it was a rather unfortunate accident. Still, the intensity was off the charts in that match, and of course it was in this no ropes barbed wire match too. If Ring of Honor does something like that, they don't do it lightly, and they do it right. No, they had the whole intensity, the whole hatred between those two, the storyline between those two in this match, and not just bloody spots. And of course they had the bloody spots and the brutal spots, and it really was a brutal match. One of the best no ropes barbed wire matches I've seen thus far, because it relied on the story and not on just on the violence. And in the end, after tons of being thrown into barbed wire, getting hit with barbed wire bats, getting sliced up with barbed wire, Julius Smokes had to throw in the towel for Homicide because he didn't want to quit while being in a submission hold with barbed wire. Corino tangled barbed wire around his hands and had the submission hold on, and was rather beneficial for Homicide to have the match ended at that point. Still, great match. Really great match, and my match of the night. Of course, the show itself, great main event, great co-main event, very good tag team title match, a pretty decent gauntlet in the end, and a nice John Walters Xavier match. The rest, typical 2003 Ring of Honor crap. You really don't have to like it, and it drags the show down a little bit. In the end, still pretty entertaining show, especially for the main events, but as a whole, the show is not a must-see. Stick to the last two matches and you have seen the best of it. Still, if you watch the whole show, you won't regret it, but you can skip a few candidates. So, hopefully you found this review informative, and hopefully you'll give me a few likes or a few subscribes, and hopefully I'll see you again next time. So long.